Today is April 4th, 2023. Yesterday, someone left a comment on one of my videos that went something along the lines of, if I don't try something for myself, I'll have to wonder the rest of my life whether I should have done it or not. Kind of like, if I don't find out for myself, I'll never know, that kind of mentality. And I thought about it, and that's very much how I used to live my life. I wanted to try everything. And I mean, being open to new experiences isn't a bad thing, but I made a lot of mistakes. I did some insanely stupid things to the point where I'm fortunate to still be alive today. I mean, I would get blackout drunk and wake up at home with my car in the garage and have no idea how I got there, no remembrance of it. I would pick fights with people and kind of poke and prod these guys that probably would have destroyed me in a fight. I've taken pills at a club from a stranger without having any idea what was actually in them. I've driven a motorcycle at 100 miles per hour and split cars that were next to each other in two adjacent lanes. Like, I was an absolute idiot in some of the behavior I did. But I had to try everything. I had to know for myself. And part of the problem was I never had anyone tell me that certain things were a bad idea, or if someone did warn me, I didn't listen to them. It was always this, I have to know, like, I don't believe that person. And that's the thing, I didn't have a lot of authority figures who I trusted, or just wise counsel in my life. I didn't really trust my parents. There was a lot of turmoil at home, and so I never really felt super comfortable telling them things or asking them about things. My friends were just as idiotic as I was, and I didn't really have any like teachers or coaches that really took me under their wing and taught me anything. I mean, I had moments that were actually very impactful, but they were few and far between. I didn't have any consistent voice of reason in my life. And I had plenty of bad examples. And so I made a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of things I would do differently if I had to do them all over again. I wouldn't get into motocross. Today I would tell someone, you should not get into motocross. Even though it was something I thoroughly enjoyed. I had a blast doing it. But the risk is so high with that sport, and the cost is so great that it's just not worth it. There's other things you can do to find that kind of enjoyment. So I wouldn't recommend that people get into motocross. And there's a lot of things, drugs and alcohol and hookup culture and all of these things. I would say stay away from them. But I didn't know that when I was younger, and even if people told me, I didn't listen to them. And I think it's only getting harder in today's world, because the modern world is absolutely saturated with deceivers and deception. I mean, you look at major news networks and Hollywood, and they're just pumping out propaganda. You look at schools, and they're basically brainwashing kids with these crazy ideologies. There's tons of influencers and marketers all over the place just trying to sell stuff to people and blatantly lying to do so. And now you have AI coming along that's able to basically imitate reality with pictures and audio and words. And if you don't think that's going to be a problem with deception, you're already deceived. You've already lost. So there's all of these different things that are lying to us. We're just steeped in a world that's full of deception. But there are some ways to spot when this is happening. So, for example, is someone, are there like a bunch of hoops you have to get through to learn something? So let's say someone has, hey, I have the secret answer to this problem. But first, you need to watch this video. And then you need to sign up for this course. And then you need to come to my seminar. And it just feels like you have to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop to get to the answer or the thing you're trying to figure out. That's probably a marketing technique. Or if someone says something is quick and easy, like the quick and easy solution to something. Oftentimes, again, it's just a marketing technique. Because things that are valuable are usually difficult to attain. Does the person sharing information with you seem just a little too perfect? Do they never admit any flaws or anything like that? They're probably hiding something. There's probably something going on behind the scenes that you don't know about. Or like sex is something very sexualized. Are you listening to someone because you're attracted to them? And not saying that attractive people can't be telling the truth, but if there's like it's sexually charged content. If that's the case, you might be in trouble. There's probably some deception going on because it's playing on your desires, playing on your emotions. And it can be hard to spot these things, but there are certain patterns like that you can kind of notice. Like, take note of these different marketing techniques or these different tactics that show up and familiarize yourself with them a little bit. And then on the other side of the coin is learning the truth. So I get we live in a culture that's full of deception, so it can be difficult to find sources of true wisdom. But if you look at things that have stood the test of time, the Bible, read the Bible. It's filled with truth. You'll learn a lot about life and gain a lot of wisdom. Or read works of literature that have been around for centuries and are still relevant today. If something stood the test of time, it probably contains some truth. Or if something has worked repeatedly throughout history, it probably contains some truth. Or if something has failed repeatedly throughout history, such as communism, where we've seen example after example of catastrophic consequences to communism, and yet people are still like, well, we just haven't implemented it the right way yet. If we do communism the right way, it'll be the best. It's like, no. It's failed over and over again. The reason it doesn't work is because the foundational ideology behind it is garbage. So if things either work throughout history or fail throughout history, that's a good indicator whether they're true or not. And when you familiarize yourself with the truth, you're better able to understand when something isn't true. You know the truth, and so if something is a lie, you can tell, oh yeah, that's not the truth, because I know the truth. So learning the objective truth of reality and life and how things work is going to help you spot lies. And that brings me back to finding wise counsel. So it's super important to find trustworthy people to teach you about life so that you can learn from their experiences and you don't have to make mistakes that other people have already made. If I'm curious about trying cocaine, but someone I know has done it for a long time and they warn me and tell me, no, you shouldn't do this. It's a bad idea. You're going to become addicted. You might lose all your money. You might lose all your friends. It's a bad idea. You can just trust that person and listen to them and move on. You don't have to try cocaine in order to never wonder about whether it's a good idea or not for the rest of your life. You can just trust the counsel of someone who's already experienced it. And so I think that's just a really important lesson to learn. Like, don't make mistakes that people have already made. You can learn from other people. That's one of the reasons I'm on this YouTube channel and making these videos talking about different topics, because I've unfortunately made a lot of mistakes. And I hope that at least by sharing some of those, other people can learn from them and avoid making them in their own lives and hopefully live more successful, fulfilling, happy lives. So, that's all I got for you for today. Peace.